welcome back to the EWG YouTube channel. I'm your host Ollie, and we're going to go through Game Week 23 review. So we're going to have a look at some players and teams that I think performed very well, that we can get some players in and win your game weeks going forward. So the first player I want to talk about is Jack Grealish. Obviously City beating Arsenal away 3-1 was a massive result for them. But Jack Grealish getting his goal in this game. They had a double game week where they also beat Villa 3-1. And he got an assist in that game. So he's really hit some form right now. And I think he's really learned from his time under Pep and is now getting in on the goals and the assists. And he's that player that Pep's been looking for with that 100 million price tag over his head. And he got 2 bonus points in the Arsenal game as well, meaning his game week 13 point output was 13 points, which definitely would have won some of you probably your game weeks, or maybe adversely lost you your game weeks if you were playing against him. He's got some really good fixtures, and City do coming up. They've got Forest away next, followed by Bournemouth away. And I mean, that just screams points and clean sheets. But we'll talk about this, the Pep roulette of clean sheets. Who are we going to get in? I mean, Bernardo Silva was playing left back. The man is a mad genius, I think, at times. I think the only players I want from that City team defensively would be obviously Ederson in goal, starts every game, and probably only Kyle Walker. Bar that, I mean, I would get in the likes of Nathan Ake, even Akanji, Laporte, but God knows, I think you start them every week and you just cross your fingers they're on the starting team sheet, because you just have no idea if they are actually going to play. The next person I want to talk about is Harvey Barnes. So Leicester went out and beat Spurs 4-1. And Harvey Barnes was an absolute prolific figure in this game and has been over the last few weeks. I did a tweet about it. He's got 7, 8 and 6 points in his last 3 game weeks. And Leicester in this period of time got a 2-2 draw with Brighton, beat Villa 4-2, and then now beaten Spurs 4-1. And this sensational run of form has also coincided with the return of one of my favourite players. Do not ask me why, but Kelechi Iheanacho. The striker's come in and he's just transformed at least the attacking outputs of this team. I think they've been crying out for a striker. Jamie Vardy, do I dare say it, is past it now. And Brendan Rodgers, I think, really wanted Patson Daka to be the man to come in, take over. But it's not really worked out that way. Should be a word of warning, though, for Leicester. If you're looking to get in Leicester assets right now, they do have United away, followed by Arsenal at home in the next 2 game weeks. But after that, they really don't have that many hard fixtures. They've got City away in the middle of this run, but till game week 36, so right at the very end. So they have a good chance. I mean, they've got City away in there. I think they've got Chelsea at home, I think, is the other one of note, and Brentford away. But bar that, I think you could look, maybe not to get in this week, but over this sort of 2 game week period, over the United and Arsenal game, people won't really be looking at the Leicester assets, maybe getting them in because they've got a really good run of games coming up. Now on to Liverpool. So Liverpool, Merseyside derby, 2-0 victors coming out. And let's start with the positives. Gakpo played, not off the left this time. He played as a false 9, the new Bobby Firmino, let's say. I feel like Klopp's sort of almost gone back to his roots in he's got a little Bobby Firmino type in Gakpo. On the left, he was playing Darwin Núñez, who's, Sadio Mane, you could argue, could play striker as well. And I mean, there was a stat that I put out today about the chances created by Núñez and Salah combined is the top in the league out of a 2-player duo. So it's definitely players you'd want to have in your team. And I think maybe this could be the start of them clicking and going forward. But on the other side, Everton, the bubble has burst. The 1-game bubble of Sean Dyche, as they've come crashing down in this derby. I mean, I think we always knew it was going to happen. They went and got a fantastic result against Arsenal. But really, was that going to be? Everton are now one of the best teams in the league, or whatever people were saying about it, and DCL getting injured. I mean, they're playing a relatively unknown young striker up top. It was always going to be a difficult one. I think someone that, from an Everton point of view, that needs a shout out is Seamus Coleman. He played really well. He's taking set pieces. I mean, I think it's the first goal. He takes a set piece. They almost score from it. And Liverpool just went up, attacking transition, counter-attack, and went and scored. But I'm talking about this front three mainly for Liverpool. The Gakpo, Salah, Nunez really enjoyed it. But this is a little thing that we need to start thinking about is Diogo Jota. Diogo, I think, actually, as we've been pointed out before, I've been saying it wrong. Diogo Jota has returned from injury. He got some minutes. And Luis Diaz is also not far away from coming back. So when you've got all five of them, the question is who starts? And not even just who starts, where do they start? I really enjoyed Gakpo as the false nine. Like I said, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp going back to what he sort of started and implemented when they broke into that top sort of 1-2 conversation. So it'll be interesting forward, seeing what goes on there. Now, a player that I've actually got in one of my fantasy teams is Wout Weghorst. So obviously you'd probably think, he's going to, Man United win 2-0 away at Leeds. Rashford, obviously the golden boy, the golden child, going and scoring goals. We all know Rashford's good, okay? He's got 8 goals in his last 9 games. It doesn't take a genius to do that, but I just want to talk about Wout Weghorst for a bit. He got an assist in this game, which is first attacking contribution in a fantasy output for United. And he seems to be the starting 9 now. I don't think that will change. And people are talking, especially when Ten Hag came in. And I think one of the big debates about, with Ronaldo or whatever last year was people were like, Ten Hag doesn't want to, almost like a tool target. Not that Ronaldo is a target man, but a tool, a striker like that. And I mean, to a certain extent, yes. But I mean, he had Sebastian Haller at Ajax where he got 34 goals in 43 games for him. And if you actually look through Ten Hag's teams in the past, he managed Seb Haller twice. So he quite likes a tall frontman, but also gets through his work rate, which is exactly what Wout Weghorst is. And I mean, with goal stats like 34 goals in 43 games, I mean, that was off the back of Seb Haller's time in West Ham when he wasn't great here. So I think it's definitely something to look that we could be seeing someone that will be at Manchester United come towards the end of the season and learnt under Ten Hag how to play the position or how he wants him to play the position in the team and could be getting goals and assists. I mean, that's at least what I think, and part of me hopes as well, because that would be wonderful for my fantasy team. And then the last player I want to talk about is Willian. Fulham came out 2-0 victors home against Nottingham Forest. And that's 3 clean sheets now in the last 6 games for Fulham. The second best defence in that time. I think only Newcastle and Arsenal have bettered that, conceding 2 goals. Fulham have conceded 3 goals. And Willian on the left-hand side has just been unbelievable. Especially for, I think he's 34 now. For his age, he's just been fantastic. So he actually came off with a bit of an injury and was replaced by Manor Solomon, who came on and, as all Fulham fans know, is effectively going to take over from Willian, not this season, but in the future. I think he's the long-term prospect for the Cottagers, and he was looking sharp. He managed to get his goal as well. He was beating men. He was doing exactly what Willian was doing. But he's definitely a replacement that if Willian realistically in at least your bigger leagues, I should say, will have been picked up, I think Solomon could be a good shout to get in, because if Willian he's got these niggles. He is, as we've said, older. He has been injury prone in the past. It could be worth a shout getting Solomon in, just because he will be there to replace and come on for the last half hour or so, and going up against a tired right back that Willian's been tormenting all game for 60 minutes. I think it'll be a good shout to get him in. But from a defensive standpoint, it should be noted that Fulham actually now have a bit more of a settled back 4, or if you want to include Leno, back 5. That is Tete, Ream, Diop, and my oddball for the week just gone, Anthony Robinson. That hit. Finally, we were going through a bit of a dry spell with that, but we're back. And I mean, I was talking to someone the other day and saying, oh, it's very well and good you've got all this, but you've got some fixtures coming up, especially with Brighton next. I definitely wouldn't be getting in the Fulham defenders. And what I would counter to that is Brighton have only scored 2 goals in their last 2 games. Then there was 1 against Bournemouth and 1 against Palace. And they haven't exactly been the best defensive teams, I should say. They've really missed Evan Ferguson, who will be back for this game against Fulham. But it'll be something to look out for. I think definitely Kenny Tete is the one that gets the assists. Tim Ream has just been phenomenal for Fulham, and Issa Diop seems to have taken over from Tosin, and from corners is a very, very good threat to have. Anyway, that's it for this week, listeners. Hope you enjoyed the Game Week 23 review. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more tips, and give me some feedback, because obviously this is only the second Game Week review that I've done, so any help would be lovely. See you next week, guys. Hope you win your game weeks.